Captain John G. Mudge, Captain Harrison Aldrich, Lieutenant Eliza Eldridge, Sergeant Francis Peckham, Sergeant Calvin C. Aldrich, Sergeant George H. Holman, Sergeant Joseph W. Upton, Corporal J. Benjamin Howe, Corporal Joseph Jackson, Corporal Benjamin W. Spooner, Corporal Frederick Bryant, Corporal Charles E. Johnson, Corporal Levi C. Hicks, Privates William H. Allen, Charles S. Brigham, Calvin C. Barnes, Daniel R. Brown, J. Warren Clark, George O. Cook, Benjamin M. Crockett, Dwight Ripley, David Twitchell, George D. Whitcomb, Henry Woods, George W. Young, Hoyt Hale, Hiram E. Newman, Albert Haskins, Hiram Rathburn, Hugh P. Finney, Leonard Stone, Albert W. Stevens, Charles A. Stone, Horace N. Pike, John M. Young, J. E. Rosser, Joseph Rowe, Calvin Carter, D. McChesser, Charles A. Pelkey, Eben Conan, Lyman D. Edwards, Asa C. Ellis, Oliver C. Gates, Solomon O. Holman, George W. Gilson, George D. Mason, Alonzo Rathburn, Thomas Craven, Ellis P. Amson, Sabina Cutler, James Foles, George G. Newton, William Ryan, D. E. Collins, Edward A. Jackson, Sherwin Legary, Joe Blippett, Daniel Newman, Louis D. Robinson, George E. Rogers, Valentine O. Rathburn, John B. Stevens, John Long, Thomas Riley, Charles R. Engelhardt, Henry D. Aldrich, Thomas E. Field, Thomas J. Peckham, William M. Peckham, Anson P. Peckham, Isaac Williams, Edward Arnold, Albert Hemingway, Alvin Williams, Josiah C. Whitney, Dennis Brown, Daniel Ahern, Windsor Gleason, Silas Richardson, James Hyde, Erastus Weeks, Seneca D. Weeks, Frank Ramsell, James Kelly, Fred L. Sanderson, James H. Stoll, Alexander E. Smith, Quincy A. Shepherdson, John E. Townsend, Morrison A. Simmons, Augustus Wheeler, Henry Rathburn, John A. Wilder, Charles H. Williams, Henry H. Lindsay, George E. Gibbs, Josiah C. Amidon, Horace Hicks, Edward B. Stiles, Alfred A. Ryder, Harrison Bliss, Samuel F. Young, Patrick Martin, Joseph Drake, Jacob E. Amson, Aidan P. Weatherby, Henry B. Williams, D. E. Howard, Charles Lampshire, Leonard Brock, James Browning, James Mulligan, Daniel Blackburn, Edward Whiting, James Fagan, Martin Shields, James Reed, John Morris, Patrick Gunn, Jonas Brown, Charles E. Ball, Luther Benjamin, Samuel Chamberlain, Sanford E. Chamberlain, John Clark, Horace Drury, George H. Edwards, William P. Fairbanks, George A. Davis, Kilburn Kendall, Charles Smith, Forrester Goddard, Charles Dudley, Kais U. Rickey, Charles Bullard, Silas Wheeler, John E. Harrington, William Harrington, James Smith, James Wilson, Daniel Sheen, George H. Parmenter, James Wood, Augustus S. Gates, George W. Gates, Sextus Goddard, Charles F. Hatfield, John F. Jennison, White Lippett, William H. Mann, Spencer T. Nye, Austin C. Parmenter, Lyman Peters, Jacob Nosdale, Charles Clark, Edward O. Murphy, Daniel E. Collins. May they rest in peace.